The last few years have caused a lot of people to reevaluate their lives, priorities, and what success really looks like. Our next guest explores those themes in her new book, Now is Not a Good Time for a Breakdown, a story about burnout, self-discovery, and finding the courage to choose a different path. Joining us is author Mel West. Mel, such a pleasure to have you here. So tell us, what's your book about?
Yeah, my novel is for anyone who's ever felt like they can't quite fit the mold that the world is trying to press them into. It follows Jess, a millennial woman living in New York City who seemingly has it all together but is quietly unraveling. There's two love interests, great friends, a blossoming career, a pandemic that turns everything on its head. It's really for anyone who's ever woken up and wondered, how did I get here?
Okay, sounds like there's a lot of interesting things going on. Now, speaking of the pandemic, that caused many people to reevaluate their life choices. How does your book tap into that?
Yeah, I think prior to the pandemic, Jess, the main character, very much felt like the whole world was open to her. She had plenty of possibilities, plenty of time to, find a career she loved, meet someone, fall in love, get married, hopefully figure out her 401k. And then when the pandemic comes, she feels like the only option is to survive, stick with the job you have, you're lucky to have it, stick with the guy who's around, you're lucky to have him, and really answer the question like, how do I feel about my life now that it's not full of possibilities? I think a lot of people had to answer that question. And while it can bring a lot of clarity, it also brings some grief, which we watch Jess process through in the novel.
I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to that. Now, your book touches on burnout through breakthrough. What does it really mean to have it all?
I think like trying to have it all is what creates the burnout in the first place. It kind of puts us on this hamster wheel that has no end in sight. So, I think we tend to think satisfaction comes from these really big things like the next job title or the next life milestone. But really, life is like the satisfaction is much quieter than that. It's about, the quality of your relationships or taking time to enjoy the moments throughout your day that do bring you pleasure, like savoring that first sip of coffee in the morning. And Jess has to learn that the hard way, as I have, as I'm sure many people have.
I love that answer. Now, what do you hope people take away from the book?
I hope that they laugh a little bit. It is a dark comedy, but more than anything, I hope that people just feel understood. I think when you come from, relative privilege, you can feel like your suffering is invalid, but I feel like people hope that their suffering is seen, it's given a language, kind of like somebody put words to this amorphous cloud that I've been living under. And I also hope that they take a permission slip to live a life that's more authentic to them.
Well, Mel, it sounds like an awesome book. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.